opinion on that day. Doesn't mean we're always 100% right, doesn't mean we're 100% wrong, it's just our opinion. You want to come and you want to listen to what the judges have to say, and you evaluate your animals from that, from watching different judges. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and say, well, that judge knows everything, those animals are, that's exactly how I'm going to breed. Because we all see things a little differently. You have to decide yourself what you want to breed for an animal, what colors you want to breed, what shade of a color you want to breed, and go look at the standard to see what your interpretation of the standard is, and that's what you want to set your breeding program on. When we first started out, we went to a bunch of different shows, and one judge will tell you it's this color, one judge will tell you it's that color. Sometimes that means that it's not a good one of either color. Doesn't mean it's a bad animal, it just means it doesn't represent the color as well as it should. If it's like a lilac and a beige, a lot of times, one judge will tell you, oh, that's a beige. And I know Kenny will see that. Next judge will say, no, that's a lilac. That means it's not a really good lilac or a good beige, because if you have a good beige and a good lilac, the color is, it's definite.
It's so different.
But it doesn't mean it's a bad animal, it's just something that you want to breed towards, okay? Some of the things I'm going to show you today, like with the babies here, I'll show you how I evaluate our babies when we're looking at them. It's not going to be so much on color, it's going to be more on the shape of the animal. I've got a couple of animals up here. I know I said cowhawks up here when I was judging today, and I saw a lot of people going, huh? Okay, I've got two animals that I want to show you, and I want you to come up and feel them and see what I'm talking about with the cowhawks and what causes it. Cowhawks is a new item that's in the standard. It was put in the last standard, I think it was the first one that it was in. It's a fault on your animals. It's not a disqualification. It's not saying it's a horrible animal, but when you're setting up a breeding program and you're looking at two animals, if they're both pretty much equal and they have, you know, good head, good eyes and ears, good color, good coat, whatever breed you're working with, if you have one that has good hips and one has the cowhawks, the one with the cowhawks is the one that you would call out. If you've got a really good animal that the only real fault on it is the cowhawks, you may not want to get rid of it, but when you're selecting the babies out of that, you want to see if you can breed it to one that has good hips and see if you can get one that has all the good qualities the one that has cowhawks has and it doesn't have cowhawks. It's just different things you want to learn about when you're doing the breeds. Americans have a lot. One of the big breeds that has cowhawks is teddies. Okay? Now a lot of teddies I saw here today had really good hips on them. But if you go across the country, you look at teddies across the country, that's a big fault of teddies. It's because a lot of times they worry more about the coat, and that's not wrong, because the coat's the most important thing on a teddy. But sometimes when you're breeding for one item, you lose something else in the end. That's your look. Okay, what I'm going to start with is I got two animals here that were brought up for me, which I appreciate the breeder bringing them up to me, so I can show you what cowhawks are. You look at this animal from the back, when I set it up, see how the feet, I don't know how well you can see from there, see how the feet go out like this? Okay, we're actually like this on that one, because I got to turn it around. That's what you call cowhawks. And what happens when you run your hands back, see how my fingers catch on the hips when you go back? That's caused by the cowhawks, because the feet are turned out and your hips aren't lined up straight. And what it does, it affects this, and it also normally pinches in the back end, so you've got more of a V shape instead of a round hip on it. Okay, now if you take that animal, this is an animal here that I made the comment when I was judging that it had the best type of all the Americans that are on the table. It did not win because of the color, but if you come up here and handle these two animals, you can see how smooth, what I call a balance of the animals, from the front to the back. It flows through nice round hips on the back, and you can see the difference. If you want to come up and take a look at that.
Go on, everybody stand up and go touch.
Run your hands back. The lines goes back there. Now run your hands on that. See how you catch? Okay, now if you look at the feet, see how the feet, you can sort of put your hands down here. See how the feet point out. Okay? Look how the feet are on this one here. They're straight under the body.
Adults can go touch too.
No, I can see it. So you just take it.
Slide it here. See how smooth when you run your hands back on that one? Okay, and run your hands on this one. Now I can work on the animals. If you watch me when I'm judging, I'll sit here and I'll lift the animal and I put the feet under the back end and I try to set the animal up so it's got the best position it can have on the type. Okay, what you want to do is set the back feet right under the hips. You don't want to stretch them out. You don't want to push them in. Set them up like that, and you gently want to lift up on the shoulders. See how that shows the crown on the animal? And what you want to curve from the tip of the nose. It should go straight back, right down through the crown, right around it to the right round hips. Okay, that animal has really nice type. The ear carriage. See how the ears are nice and smooth? They don't fold back on each other. They come down. My ideal of a really good eye, I want the ear to come right to the back of the eye. That's my ideal. Not all judges feel that way about it, but that's what I breed for in our line of animals. This one's got really nice eyes. See how the ears come right to the back of the eye here? That's really good ear carriage. And actually this one has really nice ears too.
Oh, incoming guinea pig. Hey, it's that boy.
Okay, but you'll be surprised how much posing your animal. If you have an American, a Teddy, any breed of cavies you have, if you work at the posing, take it out every day, set it up, spend like 5 minutes a day with it, and your animal sits on the table nice and set up really good, that makes the judge look more carefully at that animal. If I have to sit here and I have to keep trying to get it to sit still on the table, and I can't see what the type is, it makes it difficult when you're breeding, or when you're judging rather. So that animal has really nice shape on it. Now, some of the faults in this is a little bit uneven in color, but that's because it's molting out right now. And solid silvers a lot of times have a lighter belly. That's a fault. It's little things that you look at. When I'm comparing the animals for my best of breeds or best American, you have to look at all the different things that make up the animal. And I got one question, especially for the kids out here, actually for the adults too. How many points are there on head on an American?
0.
Don't be telling.
She told me.
How many points you think are on head on an American? Okay. How about you? Okay. There's 0 points on the head of an American. Technical points. The head is part of type. Okay. You don't want to be what I call a head hunter. You don't want to look at the head, from here, this part of the animal, and say, oh wow, look at the head, and then forget everything else about the animal. You want to balance the animal that you have on the table. One of the things, and I'll show on some of the babies, I'm going to show on this one here. When I'm selecting babies at home, when you put your hands on the shoulders, you want a U-shaped shoulder, like this here, okay? You could have an animal that has really wide shoulders at the bottom, but they come up and they have an A shape. They're like this. Okay, so what that does, it doesn't give you the full crown and the full roundness, the full evenness of the body. Okay, and you can feel it. If you handle here, this animal comes almost straight up and it goes in a nice curve.
Hey boys, go ahead.
That's one of the things I look for in an animal. Any question on the posing or what the cowhawks are?